over there's ice and not snow, because you mentioned snow is fun.
It is.
Ice, it seems very dangerous. Like even driving, was it pretty scary?
Terrible.
Like I heard of black ice. You got to watch out for that.
I actually volunteered in my community for the ambulance service. And so driving an ambulance with an emergency in the back, someone having a heart attack or worse, on black ice is really sketchy, but it does build character.
Oh, I bet it does. I bet it does. So some of that character that you're building, how old are you at this point?
You don't ask a woman her age.
No, right now at that point.
You're going to ask me other questions about math, like how long have I lived here? And then people are going to be able to do their own math.
Nobody does math that listens. I actually forbade math.
People will math. They'll be like, she's been here this long. That means she's this age. No.
When did you move to Yuma?
I've been here since 2005.
Okay. 2005.
Okay. So 2005. So
this is 20 years.
Yeah. 20 years. Happy.
So you're over there now. Welding, was that always a common thread throughout your life?
No. So in 7th grade, we had to take shop class. And so I took metal shop. I really wanted to do that. And we had to take either metal shop or wood shop. And then every student also had to take home ec, which I love. And I
and
really
where is And where is this at?
This is in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we 7th and 8th grade. So everybody had to take everything. You learn how to sew, you learn how to cook, and you learn how to make a thing or make several things. And I really loved it. And so in 8th grade, I took metal shop too. And apparently no girls had ever done that before.
Okay. What do you mean?
You're a trailblazer.
Like there was never a girl who had taken metal shop
metal.
Too.
Okay.
And I won the award for it that year.
Wow.
Walked across the stage in heels and a skirt accepting a metal shop award. That was pretty fun.
All right.
My high school did not have any kind of metal except for jewelry. So I took that. I always loved to make things, but we didn't have an opportunity to.
So you were creative. There was a creative thread throughout it. And so you said you're the first girl to do this. Now, like, it has to take a certain mindset to do that, to be the first, right? Because people are that age, you're trying to look to fit in and you want to be going with the crowd, and you kind of like, nobody else has done this. Like, why?
I really loved it, and I already didn't fit in, so it was okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like that mold had been broken years
okay.
before. So yeah, I was like the nerdy kid. I was in high school. I'd be like your biology tutor.
Okay. Oh, very
You know, like I was tutoring 19-year-old boys at the age of 14. So you're already embarrassed.
So it didn't matter then. Gotcha. So you're there. You just like to make things.
My was broken like way earlier than most people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're doing this. You take the metal you get an award for it. What is that like? What was that like? How they have like awards? You made something very nice.
No, it was just the student who did the best in both metal shop 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't about, everyone makes the same things. I think what it was really about was, it was embarrassing to get it because, that's not normal for girls, but it was also pretty cool because like, it's not normal for girls.
Yeah. So it has a little bit of both on it. So you did that. You said you went to high school, nothing metal going on except for you creating jewelry or something?
Yeah, it was a jewelry class. There was nothing really exciting. And then no metal for years and years and years.
Years and years. What'd you get into after high school?
I went to college for biology, and I learned that with a 4-year degrry in biology. So
you weren't joking about the biology thing, like you would tutor people at 14 years old about biology. What was it about biology that?
It's fascinating about the human body and how it works. Like really embarrassing on a date. This is like a true story.
Cool. We like those. Everybody tune in.
So I was dating this person, and I went to go meet his family for Thanksgiving, and very quiet kind of family in the Midwest. And someone said, why is there always room for pie? And of course, my stupid brain was like, well, in your stomach, there are folds. They're called fundus, and it increases the surface area. And I didn't think that was gross at all. I didn't talk about like bowel movements or anything else,
for sure.
I didn't talk about anything really disgusting. And everybody just dropped their fork and stared at me. And the guy that I was dating kind of patted my knee, and I was like,
oh no.
Apparently that was not, you don't talk about like the inside of your body ever.
Like, I guess body
off
type
limits
thing.
in Wisconsin.
That was not the family for you.
No, it was not. Clearly that was not my person.
That is interesting though. They were like, you don't bring this up at the dinner table. Like there was like, maybe it happened before or something. I was like,
in my family, they would have taken that as a challenge to see how much more food they could get.
Perfect. Exactly. I grew up in an Italian kitchen.
Right.
So like you talk about anything. You talk about the inside, outside outside your body, whatever. But food, yeah, exactly. We'd be like eating and listening. Yeah.
So then
talk with your mouth open. You're welcome here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you how long did you pull on that thread, the biology?
Well, I learned pretty quickly that you either have to go get your PhD, go to medical school, or be a school teacher.
Okay,
and
so
I worked in big pharma for 2 years and absolutely hated it. It's like selling your soul to the devil. So went to grad school for more biology, exercise physiology, and wound up becoming a wellness director at a small private college in Iowa.
Okay.
And wellness is what brought me to Arizona. And I taught stress management here in Arizona.
Did you like doing the wellness side of things?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was also in between. I was a therapist, and I went to school to be a counselor. So,
oh wow, what don't you know?
Well, I love to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing is, when you're a therapist, everything you hear is very, very sad and negative.
Yeah.
And being on the wellness side is like trying to build people
Healing.
up and improve your self-esteem and help people to find their power, find their strength, you know, and I mean, I counseled sexually abused children and their families. It was really hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I moved here, I realized there's no way that I could ever counsel someone in Spanish, even if I learned Spanish. I took some Spanish classes. I took one actually here at the college, and there's just no way that I would ever be able to understand on that level to be able to connect with people.
There's a cultural difference too,
right?
You know?
But I mean, when people are telling you heart-wrenching things, if you have to say like, "Excuse me, what does that mean?" Like that's
it breaks the trust and the bond.
Exactly. Like it's just disrespectful. So, so I didn't continue on that path. I just focused on wellness. And one of the things for me that was really important with wellness is teaching people about stress management. So I would always try to find an alternative, some other way besides close your eyes, deep breathe into a box. 1, 2, you know, I mean, like I could do that, but not every student can connect to that. So in Iowa, I took beginning, intermediate, and advanced boxing. And here I did blacksmithing.
Okay.
And so blacksmithing is a great way to get your frustration out. You take a piece of metal, stick it in a hot forge, pull it out, smash the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And everyone's wearing hearing protection. Okay. So if you're yelling, I can't really understand. I can hear blah, 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 right? But I don't know what you're saying. You could be like, rah, 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 rah. And then
Veronica's over there. Johnny really pissed me off today. Like, why did he do that? Yeah,
right. And so then by the time you're done, you have something that you can give to your mom for Mother's Day, and you can say,
made with rage.
I thought about you the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
And they don't know.
Right. Yeah, they have no idea that this thing was beating to death.
It's a good way to like relieve some
It's an excellent stress management.
Stress issues.
Yes. So what happened next was the instructor said, this class is going away.
Oh, so where's this class out?
This was here at AWC.
Here at AWC. Okay, you're taking this blacksmithing class.
Yep, and I took it probably 8 semesters. I don't even know. I just kept taking it because I was working here, so it was free. And
I love that.
And so I'm like, you're doing the same thing over and over again.
So what are you working here as?
I was the wellness director.
Oh, okay. So you're here as
I was a PA. Yeah, I was an administrator.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't teach as much, and that was sad for me because I really like to teach. The only class they let me teach was stress management because as a director, you need to be directing,
right?
And so not teaching. And I'm like, I really love teaching. So, so I said to the head of the welding department, Sam Colton, I know I'm a novice blacksmith, but I'm a really good teacher. So if you'd like, I could take over this class until you find the permanent replacement.
Wow.
And he said, I'll take a chance on you, as he looks me up and down. And he said,
did he say it like that old timey way? Like,
yes.
Take a
he
chance
put his hand,
on you?
he put his hand on his hip and kind of looked me up and down.
I told him you were an award winner.
Right. I know. Exactly. I know. Like an 8th grade award winner.
Medal 2. I won this award.
Exactly.
High heels and a skirt.
Exactly. I walked across that stage like I owned it.
Yeah. Strutting it all.
So he said, but you have to take a welding class first so that you understand the vocabulary.
Oh.
And I took my first welding class with Joe Graff. He's a veteran, fantastic person. And the class was welding sculpture, but it was really more of a welding survey class, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I kind of learned what addiction was, I think, that day. I was like, this is in my blood. I really want to do this. And so the next semester there were multiple processes that you learn in welding sculpture. And the one that I was really bad at, I was really bad. And I'm like, I'm the granddaughter of a stubborn Irish woman. This is not going to win.
So what do you mean? Like
terrible.
No, I know. But bad at like what? Like give us some context.
Okay.
Like what is the...
So there's different kinds of welding processes.
Okay.
And we learned a little bit of this process, a little bit
Can
of
you name them?
Sure. So we learned MIG welding or GMAW.
Okay, I've heard
and then we learned some stick welding, so SMAW.
Okay.
And then we did some oxy-fuel cutting and oxy-fuel welding. And oxy-fuel welding, I was absolutely terrible at. And I'm like, this is not the way I'm going to roll.
Uh-huh.
And so the next semester, even though I didn't have to, I took oxy-fuel. And I went to Sam Colton right during drop ad week. And I said, Sam, we're not good. We're not all good at all things. I think maybe I'm going to drop this class because I don't want to have an F on my transcript. I have graduate degrees. I really don't want an F in welding. Like, I just don't want that. And he gave me the best piece of advice, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever had. He said, right when you're about to give up, you are 1 week away from a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez, I just got chills right now.
Yeah.
That is so true.
It is so true. And so I amped up. I mean, I went in and I was practicing, and every single open lab session, and they were in the evenings. And I saw a student, actually that semester I was teaching another class. I was teaching a marriage and family class on campus. And there was one of my students who was a welding student in there. And I said, hey, Steve, what is the secret? Like, I'm not getting this. He said, you need to slow down. I said, okay. He goes, find your song. I'm like, what? Find my song? He's like, find a song that's slow. You can kind of breathe to him. Like, this is all about stress management again. Here we go.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So the next night I come in, and in the lab, there was a Carpenter song blasting. And I said, Steve, this is your song? He's like, you tell anyone, you die. I go, I still have to give you a grade this semester. And so, he was so right. You just have to slow down, just breathe. And so I tell people all the time, I'm like, just think of a song that's calming.
So did you get a song though? Did you?
I did.
Yeah. Can you tell us or no?
Okay. I don't usually admit this.
Okay.
But now that we're on radio and everyone can hear it. So the next week I go, nobody's listening. Yeah. The next week I went in and I'm like, okay, we're past drop ad. I just suck it up, buttercup. Got to do this. Sit down and I'm like, just relax, just find a slow song. And I have no idea where this came from, but
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Kermit the Frog.
Oh,
Rainbow Connection.
Okay.
No idea where that came from.
Okay.
But it totally worked. And I got it. And I was so excited. I was like a little kid. I grabbed the metal with my pliers and I ran over to Sam and I'm like, I got it. Oh, I was so excited. And from that day forward, he called me Welder.
Thank you, Kermit.
Wow. Very cool.
But that was really empowering. That was really empowering for him to call me Welder. And I took a class this semester. Then I started taking more. And he said, when are you going to get this degree? And I said, Sam, I don't need another degree. And another semester would go by. When are you going to get this degree? I don't need one. He said, would you be on Skills USA Fab team? I said, absolutely not. He said, why not? I said, because everything I know about welding and tools, I learned here. I knew how to use a drill before and like screwdrivers, you know what I mean? Like normal household stuff. But I didn't know. And he told me one day, this bandsaw is powerful enough to cut a frozen cow in half.
Wow.
I said, hard nope. When I had to use it, I'm standing like 3 feet away from it. And I'm using the pusher like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. And so he kept asking me. And one semester, he said, would you be willing to be the alternate to the alternate? I said, well, that sounds safe. I could probably do that.
That sounds safe.
So the next day, I was the alternate because the alternate quit. And 2 weeks later, I was on the team. And I didn't want to be. And we won at regionals.
Wow.
We won at state and we went to nationals.
Jeez.
I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. But I'll tell you what, that month before nationals that we spent practicing Monday through Friday for hours and hours a day, it really helped me build confidence. And even though we didn't win at National Skills USA on the Fab team, we didn't get on the podium, but I learned so much and it built my confidence. And I came back and it was summer. There was a summer class going and there was a person who had been very condescending to me in the program. You have to imagine being one of the only women in the program. At that point, there was one other female. She came in a little bit after me, but we had like one class together. There was a guy who was really condescending and he said, hey, Shanen, can you fix this machine? Because he was having trouble. And I listened and I went, I can.
Yes.
I can. So I went to Sam and I said, okay, I'm going to get the degree. And I want to work for the best damn welding manufacturer in the country. And he said, okay, teach for me first, get some experience. And a couple years later, I wound up working for Miller Electric as one of 5 trainers in North America.
Wow.
Well, you are stubborn. That's one thing I'm learning. You are stubborn.
Oh, yeah. Don't fight.
Irish.
Don't fight. Yeah. Hello. And growing up in an Italian kitchen, like, yeah. It's very unlikely you're going to win. But if you do win, like, there's going to be like part of your DNA in my teeth. Like, you know?
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break on that note. And we're going to come back and we're going to find out how this all transformed and became Weld Like A Girl, and why so many people are like, you need to get her on your show. And I said, finally, yes, we got her. So we're going to find out that after a quick break. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
K-pop fans, new year, new releases. Join us this week on K-pop for Border to hear January's new comebacks, new releases, and new debuts. It's all new. K-pop for Border airs on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on Kofa Radio. Stream the show on KAWC's app or website, or follow K-pop for Border on Facebook or Instagram.
This is 94.7 FM, Kofa Border Radio. I'm Cecilia Hollins-Braithwaite from the KAWC Newsroom. We expect a sunny day in Yuma with an afternoon high of about 72 degrees. Winds are out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour, but could gust up to 20. Cloudy skies this evening with a low around 45. Construction is moving forward on a new Veterans Affairs outpatient clinic in Yuma, a 30,000 square foot facility designed to keep care closer to home for local veterans. More on this at KAWC.org.
The KAWC Student Newsroom is funded by the Local News Initiative at the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, the Scripps Howard Fund, and by generous local support. Thank you for supporting the next generation of public media. Learn more about the project and hear stories from emerging journalists at kawc.org/student newsroom.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here speaking with Shanen Aranmór, and I did some math on the break, and I found out she is 32 years old, guys. So she's 32 years old. I figured it out. I'm pretty good at math. I'm telling you what. Now, we got to the point to the story where you're stubborn and you're going to go work for this company, and you did it. And I found out off air for 6 years.
Yes. I was the first woman trainer.
Okay.
And you're breaking all the barriers.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's incredible.
So mom told me I could be anything I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And she lied because I told her I wanted to be Luke Skywalker.
Oh, that's a cool one.
She said, no, you can't because you're not a boy. And I'm like, but you told me I could be anything. And then I picked Pocahontas. And she said, well, you can't be Pocahontas. I said, why not? She said, because you're not Native American. And I was like, but you're lying to me. Like, you can't be everything. So I'm like, all right, well, let's push the boundaries to see what we really can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you can be Luke Skywalker.
I feel like, and I definitely can't be Princess Leia because I have 4-year-old white girl hair. I told mom I wanted to be Princess Leia for Halloween one year. And I looked more like an Ewok. I had little nubs on my head. There was no chance. There's not that kind of volume. So yeah.
There's definitely something about you, some type of force though, that's with you. So you could definitely claim that.
Thank you.
So you're there 6 years. Now, when did Weld Like A Girl start to develop?
Day one of my first welding class here at AWC.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
That was like the birth, like the seed, and then you kind of watered it through that?
Well, actually, it was my second class. It was the oxy-fuel class, the thing I was terrible at. And I actually went to the instructor and said, you know, it would be really cool if we could do a women's empowerment workshop. I really feel like my background in wellness and therapy, like I feel like this could be something that could really change people. It could help build their confidence. Mm-hmm. And he didn't pat me on the head or anything, but you could tell like he's just so busy. This was just not in the realm of possibility in his life at that moment. So kind of squirreled that away. And then, so my job sorry, I'm making noise with my shoes.
No, you're cool. That was a cue ball back over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the my territory for training for Miller Electric, it's so for people who weld, it's the blue machines versus the red machines, like Coke and Pepsi, Chevy and Ford. Oh. They're two big manufacturers in the United States, and so I worked for the blue team. And So I was Denver and West, Edmonton, Canada A, and South. So that whole area was mine to train. And so I had 9 facilities that I was responsible for. And one of them, I would go to Ogden, Utah, which is about an hour and 10 minutes north of Salt Lake City. In Ogden, wonderful people. And it's interesting dynamic there. You either see people who have face piercing and face tats, or you have people that are like super conservative. In the summer, they're wearing like turtlenecks, right? Like it's just, there's no in between. Like you don't see like what we have in Yuma, where we have like everybody.
Right.
And I was standing in line to pick up my to-go order to go back to my hotel to prep for the next day. And I have my helmet bag. And this woman behind me says, "Is that a helmet bag? Is that a welding helmet?"
Oh my God.
And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Could you teach us to weld?"
Really?
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like Underground Railroad kind of stuff, right?"
Yes.
And so I called my boss.
Did they whisper too? Like,
they did.
oh,
No, they
wow.
really did. And so, I mean, I was kind of like worried for them, right?
Yeah.
And I called my boss and I was like, "Hey, next time I come, can I stay a half a day on a Saturday and just teach a women's workshop?" And he said, "Shanen, that's not in your job description." And I was really heartbroken. I thought, okay, well, I pushed it again, maybe like another 2 years. I asked him again. He said no. And then I had 2 deaths in my family within 15 months. The first one was my special needs aunt that pretty much to help shape who I am. I mean, she just was an angel. She was an angel on earth, and now she's an angel. And we were all devastated. We weren't expecting her to go that early. And then 15 months later, my grandfather, who kind of raised me, died. And I looked at my husband and I said, I think I'm done. I think I'm done traveling. I was supposed to be 50% travel, and I was 100% travel. And I love traveling, and I loved the people that I worked with. I loved my job. But I thought about the 50% of the time that I could have been home. I could have had more time to spend with them. I could have, as long as I had internet, I could have been working from home, right? Yeah. But I mean, to be a trainer, you have to be in person, but I also had to write and develop curriculum, so I could have done that anywhere. So I gave my boss one more chance. I said, "Could I please add a workshop in Ogden, Utah for women?" He said, "Shanen, that's not in your job description." And I said, "Actually, it is. Here's my 5 weeks notice." I was on vacation already for 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks were going to be, I saved up all my vacation, and John and I went to New Zealand. We ran our 7th marathon, 7th continent. Sorry, not 7th marathon, but 7th continent. We've done a marathon on all 7 continents.
Oh, wow.
So we saved New Zealand for last because we wanted to have a lot of time. And so I basically just didn't go back. And on April 4th, basically a couple of days after I got back, Weld Like A Girl was born, had a website that day, had an EIN that day.
Wow.
By Memorial Day weekend, I was putting in flooring in the building that I rented from an awesome landlord. I rented from him for 5 years and bought the building we're in, a World War II Quonset hut on South 3rd Avenue.
So let everybody know what exactly Weld Like A Girl is.
Sure. So it started, honestly, Johnny, it started as a girls and women's empowerment project. But before we even opened our doors, we were already co-ed. I mean, I'm down at UPS getting a PO box because like maybe I'm not always going to be there, right? I was still teaching part-time at the college, and I was like, maybe I'm not going to be there. What if I have to receive something? And the people at UPS were like, "I want to take a class." I'm like, well, of course. I mean, I'm not going to be like, not a she-woman man-hater. I just want to make sure that I'm helping women and girls feel safe in an environment. This is not your grandfather's welding shop. Like, it's not dungeon gray. There's purple signs in my shop with Dr. Seuss quotes. Like it's very
And you mentioned
fun,
off air that most of the time, the places you're traveling, these places that have this welding, is not the safest, nicest place,
they're
right?
like dingy. They feel like you're like going into some dungeon and you're wondering if you're coming out. You know?
Yeah, you thought you were going to end up on the first 48 hours or something, right?
Exactly.
When you're over there. But so then
them,
you created this place to be safe for
and
women and welcoming. Yeah.
Yep. And so 2 doors down from me at that time was the Garage Works. And so the owner of the Garage Works walks in one day before I opened for the public, and he goes, "This is welcoming." And I was like, "Stop." For me, I'm like, "Stop all decorations. Like, we're done. We don't need to add any more butterflies. We don't need to add any more anything." Like, this was exactly what needed to happen, because I don't want men to feel like they're run out, you know?
Yeah.
And so we've always been co-ed. We've always done a military and first responder discount, because that's the reason why we are all sitting in this seat right here. And so we've always been like very attentive to the people that help protect us. And so Weld Like A Girl is for if you want to learn how to weld and you want it to be fun. So it's not for certification. We always send people over here to AWC, Bobby's cert class. We always say, if you want to get your welder certification, Welding 127 at the college is the way to go. Now, what they don't realize is that I'm the inspector that's actually going to be inspecting their welds. But that's okay. Like I can't be their teacher and their welding inspector. And so that keeps it clean. But then we also realize that there are a lot of people that do want to have welder training for job readiness. And there's a lot of people that are veterans or people transitioning out of the military that want to learn how to weld, but they don't have enough time maybe to go through the AWC program. And so we have just launched something called Welder Corps. And that's not just for military, but it's basically built for military and people transitioning out because of their time. And so what we're going to be doing is job readiness. So you can learn to weld through Weld Like a Girl for fun, or learn to weld for job preparedness, like basic entry-level welding through Welder Corps. So we're kind of trying to help everybody. So
that you said originally to empower women, make them feel safe. Now, but what are some of the, do you give courses? Like you advertise, come over here? And who is the typical person that would say, I want to learn how to weld?
Oh, there's no typical. I have literally taught from 5 years old to 81 years young.
Wow.
We've had all walks come in. We've had Civil Air Patrol has come in. We've had
and
scouts.
You gestured towards Cecilia.
I did. I pointed to Cecilia. Yes.
Cecilia's over here.
So yeah, she was the baddie that brought the Civil Air Patrol in.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. On her birthday, that was awesome. So we'll have a class last Sunday. We did bells and wind chime class. You sign up on our website, and then you would come in with closed-toe shoes and jeans, and I have everything else. I have from a child's 4T to a man's 5XL jacket. I've got welding gloves and helmets and everything, all the PPE that you need. And you come in the day of the class that you've registered for, and you go home with whatever it was you signed up for, a bell or wind chime. We made these out of fire extinguishers.
Well, and I think that's one of the coolest things about Weld Like a Girl is that you have them create things that would attract their attention. So the minions, right?
Minions out of flowers, Freon cylinders or helium cylinders. Yeah. Flowers, yard art. We do all kinds of fun things. So you make
it fun and friendly, because when you think, what can I weld? Or I'm not putting cars together or airplanes together. No, but you can create a minion or a flower.
Well, and when people come to your house, they say, "Oh, where'd you get that?" You're like, "I made that."
Yeah.
So
it's
cool.
A conversation starter,
exactly.
Right? If it's at your house. And so I just have one last question. We're going to have to go. Did you ever do anything Star Wars themed? If not,
we can, and let's talk about what we can do. But
what can we do?
We do have plasma cutters, and plasma cutters are like lightsabers.
Oh, that's cool.
They are 16,000 degrees. The temperature of the surface of the sun is only 10,000 degrees.
Geez.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Full circle moment.
The good news is the lightsaber only comes out about this far. So you notice I talk with my hands because I'm Italian, right? So I wouldn't be cutting you in half with a lightsaber.
No. So, but let's think about that. Can we do? I would do it if you do a Star Wars thing.
All right.
And my tattoo right here is a Jawa.
I see.
Right. My son's middle name is Skywalker, so he became
So he is Skywalker.
Yeah. So
see,
the love Star Wars.
The force is strong with this one.
So if you do it, I will be there, and we'll film it, and we'll put it up on my WhatsApp
we will
Yuma
definitely
page.
do it. We will probably have to call it something so that the franchise doesn't get upset with us.
Disney doesn't get mad.
Like when I used to do radio commercials, and I would say, "Little yellow evildoers." Instead of saying minion. So we'll have to say
sorry, it wasn't a minion.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I mean, they're obviously minions, but I don't think that we're going to be on Disney's radar. So
no, we won't be. So thank you so much. I wish we had more time with you. It was an incredible story, and definitely probably going to have to get you back to talk more about it. But let everybody know right now, how do they find out more information and all your social stuff, website, and all that good stuff?
So our website is weldlikeagirl.us. For the fun stuff. And then weldercorps.org is for you want to learn how to weld and you want to actually get some credentials. And then we're on Instagram. It's Weld Like a Girl with underscores in between each word. And then Facebook, we're also on. I don't really follow my Twitter account. I've just entered the TikTok world. So Weld Like a Girl, I think I've posted 20 things, but I'm getting there. It's just a lot when you're a single business owner. You've got so many things to do.
So much. It's crazy. Exactly. Yeah, it's too much. And well, thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate you taking the time out. Awesome story. And it was fascinating, really, in how you pulled on that thread. And we learned anything today. We learned that she's stubborn. And yes, thank you so much. In a good way. No, it's a good way. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Mostly.
All right. And with that, we are going to take a break, and we'll be back with Cris Drewek, and we are going to be talking about the Yuma Community Theater. After this quick break, you're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma with Johnny Porter, weekdays at 10 on Border Radio 94.7, is sponsored by High Tanks Brewing Company, crafted in Welton and inspired by the desert. 2 High Tanks locations offer scratch-made food, handcrafted beers, live music, and experiences like farm tours and glamping. More details at hightanks.com.
Hey, it's Ana Maria Sayer from NPR Music. Have you ever dreamed of playing behind the iconic Tiny Desk? Now's your opportunity to join the ranks of artists ranging from Robert Plant to Doechii and Catriel Paco Amoroso to Chaperone. Unsigned musicians can enter NPR's Tiny Desk contest between now and February 9th. Learn more and see the official rules at npr.org/Tiny Desk Contest.
For KAWC News in Yuma, I'm Victor Calderon. A locally operated professional wrestling promotion is ready to rumble this Friday in Yuma. Attitude Pro Wrestling brings a sports entertainment action for fans with events in Yuma. The latest show will be held at Z Fun Factory. APW organizers say it's a way to celebrate the independent pro wrestling scene without having to travel to Phoenix or Southern California for shows. They put on a show at the most recent Summerton Corn Festival. Alex Stream is the owner and promoter for Attitude Pro Wrestling. He likes that it's run by locals for locals.
Attitude Pro Wrestling, we are Yuma's own professional wrestling. These other companies that do come in and do professional wrestling or they do lucha libre, they're not from here. We're locals.
APW's latest show will include the luchador Super Crazy. He's appeared in World Wrestling Entertainment, also known as WWE, and Extreme Championship Wrestling, or ECW. For KAWC News, I'm Victor Calderon.
The Yuma County Library District provides activities and resources at its branches for people of all ages. Events include story time, citizenship classes, bilingual programs, crafts, author talks, and more. For more information about the activities and calendar of events, plus other in-person and online resources, visit yumalibrary.org.
Hey, this is Jay with Mixtape, the radio show all about sharing music from the days of cassette tapes and before the time of online. This week's episode, Hit the Dance Floor. We'll be jumping around and raising the roof with Talking Heads, Men Without Hats, while in Depeche Mode. So lace up the shoes and join the dance party. Join me Thursday at 7 p.m. on KOFA Border Radio or on the KOFA app.
I'm Chris Wheeler, owner of Prison Hill Brewing Company. I support KAWC because I think KAWC brings a service to the community that you don't get on commercial radio. You have news, you have entertainment, you have things like Science Friday. It's a perspective that is not available on a commercial platform, and it's oriented towards the community, for the community, and from within the community. Prison Hill underwrites KAWC and community radio because of what it brings to Yuma. It is the local perspective told by residents and from the view of people in the community. I don't think you get that anywhere else. Supporting KAWC really does bring a service that is not available elsewhere. It's a worthy endeavor, and I think that will just feed back and make Yuma a better place. I'm Chris Wheeler, and I support KAWC.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by Cris Drewek, multifaceted, like all kinds of stuff. And so we're going to be talking about the Yuma Community Theater with Cris, but shout out to the Taco Lab.
My mouth is full right now.
I know.
I'm eating tacos.
Yeah, Veronica and I are eating. Chris didn't get one yet, but no, we're going to
I'm
definitely
enjoying
get
the
one.
smell. It smells quite good.
Poor
We are
Chris
so
is just
rude.
over there. I know, right? We just ran out there and got the food. But
Well, one of us has to have our mouth empty so we can be talking. and-
exactly.
Thank
That's
you.
going to be you. So every time I ask a question,
We're
take
just
a big
nodding our
bite.
head.
yeah, I'm gonna be. But shout out to the Taco Lab. They just reached out. They're like, "Hey, do you want to try a taco, Johnny?" And I was like, "Sure, if you could bring enough for the crew." And they did. So yeah. So everybody out there, if you're listening, go get some tacos. They're
Go
for
look on
everybody.
Instagram. We'll post the pictures of the tacos.
Yeah, we're going to do that for sure. So thank you guys for that. But Chris, I reached out to you. We're going to talk about Yuma Community Theater. So I know a little bit about your background, and we've had you on before. You've got into the film or the video world from building guitars and stuff. But what about this performance world, right? Where did this come from?
Yeah, I like to think, and maybe I'm just making this up to justify all my different hobbies and interests,
Right.
but I like to think everything I do does connect in some way.
Mhm.
And so obviously, like making guitars, filming them, making YouTube videos. I started doing filming more, got into filmmaking. And then filmmaking, watched a lot of movies to learn techniques and stuff.
Producing.
And yeah,
Okay.
and then obviously you get into the story and the acting and all that stuff.
Because you do, I just want to give some clarification. You act in these dramas, or what do you call them? Performances? What's the correct term for it?
There's you get a lot of theater snobs that will correct you depending on what it is. If it's a musical, they call it a show.
A show.
Technically, it's still a play, but people don't really call a musical a play. They call it a musical or a show.
Okay. A musical or show. Okay.
And then if you're like a real dramatic, like a real artist of the theater, and you do dramas and you do we call them straight plays that are just just people acting and no music and stuff. So those are plays and then shows. But nobody really cares that much.
Okay.
It's a very inclusive world, the theater world. So
Thank
call it
you.
whatever you want.
Good. Because I was like, I think I'm going to be safe if I say a performance. They have a performance, right? Like either way, it's a musical, whatever. It's still performing. But so you kind of mentioned it on that side of it. But what about when you were young? Was that any part of it? Because you also not only and I think we're going to get to where this background, you not only act in it, but you also build the sets, right? You help build sets. So let's go to the acting part. Was that anywhere in your childhood, or did you like to perform?
Yeah. So in school, I never had the opportunity. We never had a drama program or anything like that. I was always interested in theater. I always thought it was something that I would really enjoy. I listened to a lot of soundtracks. I was a little bit of a nerdy kid growing up.
So let's mention that. So you listen to soundtracks, and so that scores or soundtracks or both.
A lot of like Broadway original cast recording type.
Oh wow! Yeah. And how old are you at this point?
It's probably in my early teens, 14, 15, that I really started to get into that.
Okay. And how?
I think a lot of it was the people I hung out with. I was around a lot of nerdy people. I also spent a lot of time on the internet and, just found out about Broadway and the theater world and how all that works. It was always very intriguing to me. But then my wife, who I've known since I was 10 years old, and we've always been, kind of best friends in the same circle of friends, she and a lot of her friends were also very interested in theater and a bit of theater nerds. So that kind of got me into it. Yeah.
Your wife, she performs. She plays the piano, correct?
Yeah, she
amongst
does
other things, violin and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and she also she taught strings for years. She acts, she performs. She does a lot of stage managing too. She works a lot in the tech now, and that's what she really enjoys doing. She's a very organized, detail-oriented person, which is amazing and something that I do not understand. That's why we're great together.
I will perform.
Yeah, you have your other half for sure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You are the missing piece of my life, girl.
Right.
You're like, no, I'm not trying to be romantic. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah. It's more of stuff wouldn't be done without it.
Yeah. Okay. And then I know. So you mentioned knowing your wife. Since 10, it was through church, right? Okay. And now I know churches, they put on performances and stuff like that. So did your church do that? It's because, like recitals or anything like that?
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of that in the churches that I was involved in. I did choir, stuff like that. We had a little orchestra I played in. I was also in high school. What I did have access to in school was orchestra. And so I played in that. And I loved performing and I loved getting ready for show night and getting dressed up and learning the music and going up and playing. I thought that was so fun. The thing I didn't ever love about orchestra was, maybe it was just specifically my world, but it wasn't quite as like open and fun of a community. Orchestra is very classical and it's very structured and like, you know, it's very much exactly in the lines. And theater is the same type of performance and the same type of, you know, like getting ready for a big show, but with a lot more freedom and creativity and I mean, you know, theater people, everything is very, very fun and creative and very, you get to make a lot of decisions and choices when you're acting in a show. And that's, I think, what I was drawn to. Again, I didn't have access to any of that in high school.
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah, my church didn't have a lot of that, a little bit of choir stuff. But it was after I actually graduated and my wife and I were married and I was a grown adult when I did my first show.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was in the Heights only 3 years ago now, I think.
It was at the Yuma Art.
Yeah. We
at the Art Center.
At the Historic Theater.
Did you go? Did you see that one?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so yeah. So you're familiar with some of my early work.
I did technical theater in high school, so I know a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I love Broadway shows. All the musicals. My boys will never admit it, but they know all the Broadway soundtracks too.
That's great. One day they'll admit it.
Yeah, one day. Well, I think the arts is so important, and it builds a well-rounded person. And it's so sad that some of the high schools now don't have art programs or creative programs, because I would have never thought to go into technical theater. I didn't want to act. I was really shy in high school, believe it or not. So I'm like, what else can I do in this class? So Nicola Olson was the high school teacher, art teacher at Yuma High. And she's like, well, technical theater. So like learning about how to set up the stage, how to build stages. That's where I learned how to use a hammer and a drill.
What grade are you in, Veronica, when you took that
I was
course?
a sophomore in
You're
high
a sophomore.
school.
Okay.
Yeah. Freshman year, I took theater. So
you did?
I took acting 101.
Okay, but you're like, I'm shy.
The monologues, the freestyle of that was not for me.
No.
So I wanted to keep doing that because I liked the people that were there. So then I did technical theater.
That really is the great part about theater, is that there is something for everyone. Whether you're a carpenter and like to build houses, those are skills that you can use in theater. If you're, a videographer, photographer, and you need to take the photos for the promotional stuff, that's a job. Sound stuff, obviously, sound, lights, that's huge. There really is a little place for everyone in the world of theater, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a theater. They called it at COFA theater production.
Yes.
So, and I took that my senior year just because I was like, I needed to get credits and get out of here. I slept through most of the class, unfortunately, but I was like, wow, I really like these theater kids. Like, this is cool. It was a good place. And I wish I would have.
Johnny, you were one of those theater kids.
No, I know. I was because and I was like, I wish I could have gone back to my freshman year and then did that my whole, stint at COFA, because it was so cool and learning about it. So it's cool that you did it after, like you're saying, like, I have this affinity for it. I'm going to do it. I'm an adult now, and I don't have to be around the structure of these schools. And you jumped right into it.
Yeah, and theater is a great thing because it gives you the permission to be someone else or try something different, or when specifically when you're acting on stage, obviously, but then in whatever role. But it's like a very safe place to try new things and to be something different. And for me, that was interesting because I came into it very late. I was an adult. I was married by the time I did my first show. And that was really, really difficult and a little bit embarrassing. And I was very self-conscious the first audition to have to go into a dance audition. I have no dance experience and having to go in and like learn the combo. And yeah, that's a fun story. No, not great. However, there's a running joke. I'm not a dancer. I cannot dance. Yeah. But just because of certain scenarios and on how we've had to cast certain shows in the past, they've liked my style of dancing as bad as it is for certain characters, and it's happened multiple times. I've been cast as like a specifically dancey type of person.
Gotcha.
And so now there's a running joke that I'm the dance captain of that.
You become the dance captain because it's so unique.
Yes, exactly.
Because of your unique ability.
Really, I cannot
but no rhythm in those bones. Huh?
Not really.
Okay.
The half white part of me is too much.
Yeah.
I wish I had heard more of my mom.
What? We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come on the other side of it. We're gonna talk talk a little bit about the performance or the play that's going on right now. It's a play. It's not a musical, is it?
It is a play.
It's a play.
No, it is a play.
Okay,
and
cool.
this is, we do mostly musicals at YCT, but this is a dramatic, serious play. So
all right, I got it right. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but I also want to talk about some other things because coming from the church, and I think you and one of your characters, I don't know, you wore makeup or something, and like you were talking a little bit about getting to play other roles, and I want to know what that experience was like for you. All right, we're going to do that on the other side of the break. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here at 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
KAWC and Border Radio are sponsors of the Village Jazz Series, with concerts starting at 6 every Thursday evening at Yuma Palms Regional Center through April 30th. This week, the captivating stylings of vocalist Mia Delgado will be featured with Yuma Jazz Company. Guests should bring their own seating. Details under Village Jazz at yumajazz.com.
It should be mostly sunny today with a high of 74 degrees, north winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour, cloudy in the evening with a low around 50. In Kingman, also sunny with a high of 62 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, clear tonight with a low of 37. In Prescott, partly sunny with a high of 61, partly cloudy in the evening with a low of 27. In Flagstaff, partly sunny with a high of 52 degrees, winds could gust as high as 18 miles per hour, partly cloudy in the evening with a low of 18.
I'm Public Radio Runner. Bonus Smiles is the music show where we share the stories and playlists that fuel runners. Join us on your local public radio station, KOFA, at 94.7 FM. In our next episode, we hear from DeAndre Rogers and Devontae Gaskill and the tunes that power their runs.
Saturday morning starting at 5 here on Border Radio, KOFA.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here with Cris Drewek, and he is representing the Yuma Community Theater. And one of the things I wanted to bring up, it's like, so you have this religious background. It's still very much a part of you are. But you kind of mentioned get to play different roles, and you did this role in Cabaret, and you grew out your hair a little bit because when I met you, you were very clean cut,
a little military looking.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so was there any friction like that when like people like, what's going on with my Cris, or he's kind of developing into something else or blossoming or whatever?
Yeah, for sure. Depending on the actor, I think for me, anyways, my process, and it's gonna sound like I'm some like fancy actor or something.
Yeah,
but
maybe you are.
Depending on the role, I do put a lot of energy into researching where the character comes from, what their background is, what they're like, what the character would have been like and lived in. And if anyone knows the show Cabaret, it's a very heavy show. It's very dark. It's very, it's a big lurid party, but at the same time, it's showing the undertones of fascism rising in a country, and that's a very heavy topic. Mm-hmm. And to see how that affects certain groups of people, I was lucky enough to play the role of the MC in Cabaret. Mm-hmm. And that's a role where he is really representing the alternative queer night culture of Berlin at the time of fascism rising. Mm-hmm. And that is not my background. That's what I'm saying.
How do you reconcile those feelings?
I spent a lot of time researching the culture, talking to people who knew more about it than I do, people who come from experiencing things like that. And it's very important to, when you're playing a character like that is not necessarily your experience, to do all the due diligence to learn what's happened and what's happening to those people and what exactly those.
You're a really good actor then, because you study and you get, you hear like Shia LaBeouf and all these other big, I don't know if you consider him a good actor or not, but they like go into method acting, right? So they go into this character and they live as this character for months before they actually film.
And whether or not you consider it method or not, all good acting, unless you're a character actor, unless you're Joe Pesci, and you can, although he's a great actor. But anyways,
Joe Pesci plays the same character.
He's his
plays
character,
himself.
right?
Yeah. But yeah, if you're going to act as any character, you have to have some empathy for where they come from. And so in this case, it was really interesting, and it really changes who you are every character you play.
It must.
It does.
It
Yeah, because you're learning, and you're learning about other people. And every time you learn about someone new, a new people group, a new person, you take some of what they are. And if you're really doing a good job of researching it and trying to act and empathize with them, that becomes part of you. Even when you're playing a villain, like the most horrible roles you could think to play, you have to have some empathy for where they're coming from. Part of the character in Cabaret is he's supposed to represent Germany as a whole. So yes, parts of it, are those specific people groups, but he's also representing the spirit of the country and the country falling into fascism. And you have to represent some of that. And that's very dark and very heavy, but you have to have empathy for where and understand whether or not you agree with it. You have to understand how it happened and why that character would feel that way. And so that's a very big part of getting into acting. I don't have any formal training, so I can talk about this from my experience, but there are people in our YCT who have traveled to Europe and trained. I'm thinking the show I'm in right now, which we can talk a little bit more about, 12 Angry Jurors. Our assistant director, Jacob, is an incredible guy, incredible actor, and he's traveled the world, taking classes and stuff, and like I said, Europe and things like that. And there's so much information on the acting process and becoming a character and empathizing with who you're playing. You could spend your whole life really learning to do it, because acting is just being a person. It's just life, and the more life experience you have, the more
you're literally putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah, and then like you said, you learn a little bit, and that kind of stays with you, and then that empathy doesn't go away.
Right. And that's the great thing about it. And I think that theater has been such a big thing in my life, even getting into it later in life. Like I was past the development of high school and everything, but still these different characters I've gotten to play have shaped parts of my personality, even now that I'm learning things that, I probably would have never taken the time to research this, but now I understand, like this period of history or something that I wouldn't have taken the time to learn if I didn't have to play a character.
Absolutely. So tell us everybody about the new play that's going on right now and the character that you play.
Yeah, so I'm currently playing one of the leads in 12 Angry Jurors, which is incredible show based off of the movie 12 Angry Men. I don't know if it's
it's a good movie.
Yeah, really, really good movie. Very old. Henry Fonda. I play Henry Fonda's character, so juror number 8. And the quick synopsis is it's a jury deliberation room. There's a boy on trial for murder, and if we find him guilty, he's going to the chair. He's going to die. And it seems like an open and shut case. Everyone in the room thinks that all the evidence is there. He's got to die. And so we're going to make the decision. But my character, number 8, doesn't agree that it's open and shut. And so the interesting thing about the show is that you don't see anything outside of the jury room. All you know about even the trial is from the conversation of the jurors.
Wow.
And it really puts you in the jury room with them, and the audience has to sit through the conversation and really follow along and be part of it. Because at the top of the show, when annoying me raises my hand and says, I don't know that he's guilty, I don't think we should vote that he's guilty, everyone is like, you're crazy. And as an audience, based on the evidence that you're given, I am crazy.
You're crazy. You're crazy at that point.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. But then you go on this journey, and as they recount the information and try to convince 8 that no, he's wrong, this kid's absolutely guilty, and as 8 brings things to light that maybe he noticed during trial that the others didn't, you start to see that, maybe I'm a little bit biased. Maybe some of the things that seem true and so obvious may not always be. And then hopefully, if you're doing it well, and I think we've gotten really good feedback, the audience starts to realize, maybe I'm a little bit prejudiced. Maybe I'm a little bit biased against this, because, that this is just what I think of these kind of people, or this is what I think of this kind of scenario. I'm always quick to judge these.
So there's some self-reflection there.
Yes. And that's the idea. At the end of the show, hopefully everyone sees that, maybe this quick judgment that I made based on things that seem so true maybe aren't so true if I'd given it a second to think about it.
Everything we're going through right now, right? On social media and everything.
Absolutely. It's definitely very timely. So has opening night already started?
Yes. So we opened last week and we did all weekend. But then we have one more weekend of shows.
This one coming up right here?
One coming up. Yep. So we have this Friday night, we open again at 7 p.m. And then Saturday we have 2 shows, 2 p.m. matinee and then 8 p.m. And then Sunday matinee will be our last show. So just 4 more chances to see it.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody out there wants to, dip their toe in acting, how do they get involved with the Yuma Community Theater?
Yeah. All our auditions are open for the most part. We do have a summer program you have to enter, but that's for youth. And that's also open, but it's like a registration thing. But all of our main season shows are open audition. You just go on our Instagram at YCTAZ or go to our website, yctaz.org, and you can find all of our audition notices and show up on audition, fill out the form.
Will we see you there next time, Johnny?
You know what? It's like, thinking about it, absolutely terrified. Part of me, right? But then also it's like, I would love to do it too. Yeah. I fought in a ring. I fought at an MMA fight after taking kickboxing for 6 months, and so that's kind of under my belt. And that's like, I did that and bright lights and everything. This was a legit actual show.
I think that's a new series right there, Johnny.
What's that? The fighting?
Johnny explores.
Johnny tries.
Johnny tries something.
It's like I did that. It's like, well, then if I could do that, I could do this. You know.
And it is always interesting because you prepare for a role, and we don't have huge audiences, but we've had shows where there's hundreds of people there. 300 people, and it's like I look back and oh man, I had to go out there and the lights and sing and dance all by myself on stage, and that's really scary. And you don't think about that after you.
I think I invite everyone to check out any of the shows that are happening, because you think, oh, what am I doing? I don't want to go do this. And then you leave and it's such a great experience, especially if you've never been to a show or, just go. It's incredible.
Especially a good show. And I feel like
and ours is a good show.
I do feel that YCT has been doing some great performances, and thanks to so many people that we've had come on recently.
Absolutely. One more time, the Instagram page and how to get tickets.
YCTAZ.org. YCTAZ.org or YCTAZ on Instagram, or show up at the door. We're doing this performance at Desert Grace in the Foothills.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much for that, Chris. I really appreciate it. And with that, What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornales, Juan Garcia, Dave Reek, and Cecilia.
You can find out more about KOFA at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. Stay tuned for KOFA's Midday Music.
And on tomorrow's program, we are going to have the men's baseball coach. His name escapes me right now. I'm not actually prepared, but we're going to talk about baseball with season starting on Friday.
You can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio.
All right. Thank you again so much, Chris. Really appreciate it. And what do you say? Break a leg or something?
Yeah, break a leg.
Break a leg. All right.
Yes.
But don't break it, though. That'd be horrible. We want Chris all whole. And shout out to the Taco Lab for the tacos. Appreciate it.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by High Tanks Brewing Company, serving up scratch-made food, craft beers, and experiences at 2 desert locations in Welton. More at hightanks.com.
You are tuned into KOFA Yuma Border Radio 94.7 FM and 1320 AM. We can also be heard with the KOFA app and at kawc.org. We have been a service of Arizona Western College since 1970.
Yuma Community Theater is presenting 12 Angry Jurors, a movie adaptation depicting the contentious positions of jurors in a murder trial, discerning facts from their own preconceived notions. Performances are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through February 1st at Desert Grace Community Church. Details and tickets are at yctaz.org.
BBC News with David Hart.